This is Beyond the Veil with Norman Meredith.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Norman, your host, with co-host and producer Ed Leese in the background.
Hey.
We're once again live from Pickens, South Carolina at the marketplace with the bonus episode called CERN. Now, if you're familiar with it, CERN, it talks about the giant particle reactor that's in Geneva, Switzerland.
A collider.
Yes, giant particle collider. You know, it's interesting. I'm gonna give you their brief on what CERN is. I'm gonna talk scientific mumbo jumbo, and I'm gonna show you some pictures, and then I'm gonna get on to the conspiracy side.
Or at least what they're telling you.
Yes.
That they want you to think.
Yes. So, this is what it is. CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, the world's largest particle physics laboratory located in Geneva on the Franco-Switzerland border. It operates a massive accelerators like the Large Hadron Collider to study the fundamental particles of the universe. In other words, they want to look at the Big Bang Theory.
Mm-hmm.
And promoting international scientific collaboration and advancing the technology with 25 member states. Now, the purpose of CERN is the fundamental physics research to probe the fundamental structures of particles that make up the universe by crashing them together at high speeds. That sounds like a bad thing, crashing things together, because things happen to explode.
Yeah, and other things come out of those elements that are crashing together that we might not know about.
Yeah. Now, one of the things that did discover was the Boson-Higgs particle from these experiments. You know, they've done they're home to the LHH, the world's largest and most powerful particle accelerator. This thing's like a mile in diameter, I believe, if I remember right. And let's see, they've done scientific discoveries responsible for major discoveries, including the Higgs boson in 2012, new heavy proton particles, blah, blah, blah. Technological innovations. Technology developed CERN for high-energy physics compared to medical imaging, computing, and detector technology. Okay, but detector technology. So what are we detecting? Is things from outer space?
Don't know. Could be.
Might be. I mean, they got educational stuff for scientists to look at in how physics works, I guess, at a particle level. And then there's career opportunities, blah, 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 visiting opportunities. But, you know, everybody thinks CERN is one big, giant research toy. Now, we're going to show you a couple pictures here of, let's see, outside of the collider, roughly 1 mile. And Ed has just lost something. And he's trying to locate it now, but we're going to show you a couple images of the inside of the collider.
There it is.
That is the inside. Now that little bitty hole dead center is where the collider runs the particles through at near light speed. And then they have these little collisions. Now, people for years have always said that doing this might create a black hole. And if you don't know what a black hole is, it's a giant hole that sucks in everything. Energy, light, planets, you name it. If somebody was to open up a small black hole, we would lose. If it didn't destroy the Earth, we'd have a giant, massive crater where these accelerators are located. If it was controllable. There's even a sci-fi movie out on the Sci-Fi Channel about a black hole created accidentally, and this thing was moving. I think I have another example of the CERN collider in here that I can show you. This is where they're setting it up. And like I said, these things are freaking huge, and the power to power them is freaking phenomenal. I mean, you can power a small city for what it takes to do these experiments.
Oh, absolutely. That's 100% true.
I mean, that's the scientific side, you know, all this experiment. And we were talking that they even supposedly have turned lead into gold.
Yeah, they have collided things, lead with other elements, and turned it into trace amounts of gold.
Interesting.
Alchemy.
That's the word I'm looking for.
Alchemy it is.
You know, modern day alchemy, but not at the scale producible to make it feasible.
That's right.
Now, for the conspiracy theorists in the crowd, did you know that people think that they're using these particle accelerators to, get this, open portals into other realities?
I believe that.
You know, sometimes people see strange storms over the particle accelerators that have been reported. Strange thunderstorms, strange colors, strange events. And people think they're literally tapping into other dimensions, or, get this, hell.
Really?
And supposedly they have tapped into hell. And here's the reason why. At the opening of the CERN Collider in Switzerland, they had, show that picture. This here is where people think CERN is opening a portal to hell. You know, one of the things that happened is they had an opening ceremony. And we're going to show you a video clip of this opening ceremony. And it was highly unusual that people reported that this ceremony was demonic in nature, because they were saying that the scientists were actually practitioners of demonology or a demon worshiper sect, and that their main goal was to open a portal to hell to let Lucifer, Satan, or his minions into our world. And here in a second, Ed is going to pop up the video that we have. And we're just going to show you the weird video here.
Definitely a weird phenomenon. For sure. What is that?
They were just doing some weird stuff on this thing. You know, climbing, falling, strange dancing.
Falling on a TV screen,
and then they unveiled a statue.
And it looks like a tunnel boring machine. What
Yeah.
are these people doing?
Yeah, it's just weird. Some of this, that was what was going on. And I believe it was the year they unveiled a statue of the demon Baal, I believe it was.
So there's naked people dancing down that ramp?
Almost. That's what I'm saying. It's just
Freaking Europeans, man.
it is just so bizarre what they were doing.
Yeah, it's almost like an act of worship.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're worshiping, and this is their altar, the particle accelerator.
What is that? Demons coming from the abyss?
The representation of maybe demons coming from the portal. They did a lot of representation. Look at that behind it. I mean, right now,
like
you're showing
eyeball.
what looks like a portal opening up behind it in the demonstration they're showing on the picture.
Like an all-seeing eye as well.
Eye of Sauron. But, you know, it's just freaking... Now I repeat. But it was just like they're praising demonology, or demons in general, that they're going to open up this portal, let their masters in. Outside one portal, one of these colliders, they have a statue of Baal. Okay? One of the demons.
You talking Baal?
Baal. That's
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
There's a statue of Baal.
And we have seen those in the news recently with the Iranians.
Mm-hmm.
The Iranians had made a statue to Baal and Moloch, which people would sacrifice
Right.
their children to. Iran made one and burnt it. And Israel got mad.
Really?
And I don't understand that, because that's child sacrifice, representative of Satan, this whole bit. Why would Israel get mad that Iran made an altar to Baal and threw it out? And it's also like the Bohemian Grove. They have a Baal there too, and they take the kids and they throw them in it with all of our politicians. Bohemian Grove.
Wow.
Maybe that's one for another day.
That's probably one for another day. Do I got anything else after that, or was it for
No, you've got this one right here.
Okay, this is a statue of Shiva the Destroyer from Hindu mythology. She is a god of destruction. And that's kind of fitting in a way, considering the potential of what these particle colliders can do. You know, they can, if used wrong, they can cause major destruction. So I could see, in a sense, a statue of, what did I say again?
Shiva.
Yeah, of Shiva being out there at one of these places. But also at the same time, it could be a representation of, we've got the power to unleash destruction, and this is who we're dedicating it to.
Yeah, it's like a weird flex. Why would they have that there?
Exactly. It opens up a lot of questions of why supposedly rational scientists, many that don't believe in God or gods, supposedly gods, would do something like this.
Well, if they believe in hell, at minimum, they're a deist. You know?
It's possible they are deists.
Well, if you believe in hell, it's because of punishment. And if you believe in punishment, it means you had to have done something wrong. And if you did something wrong, that means there's a right and there's a wrong, which means there's a moral law. And if there's a moral law, there's a moral lawgiver. It has to be absolute.
It raises a lot of questions and just causes my headaches to get worse sometimes. Because it just gets to be too much information trying to figure out the twists and ties. Excuse me. But what do you think about all that, Ed?
I think it's wild, man. In all honesty, for me, from like a scientific thing, and I'm no scientific, guru or whatever, but at the same time, I'm like, we should know some things, but not too much.
Yeah.
Because too much knowledge, some things you should just not know and just let go, because the side ramifications of the inquiry
are just too much.
Yeah.
Unless it's UFO inquiries, then we should know the truth about that.
Unless they're the weirdos with the big eyes and they're gray colored and skinny.
Yeah.
I still believe they're us in the future coming back to warn us about Biden. I mean, about, all sorts of weirdness. So.
It's possible.
Crazy.
Besides taking gene stock back to the future to try to save their line.
Yeah, I believe it.
All right. Well, we're going to call that tonight for CERN for being the bonus episode. I hope you all enjoy it. If you got any questions or something comment, please comment on the page and let us know what you think about CERN and the possible demonic influences with the CERN laboratories. All right. Signing off from Pickens, South Carolina. This is Ed and Norman. We wish you thanks for joining us and hope you have a wonderful time.